Okay, so let's look at this thing, which is like a session for beginners, but not only for beginners, for everybody who is interested in trading. So whenever you're getting into trading, there are things which you should have asked yourself. But by the time you realize that these are the questions which should be asked, probably it is too late. And those are the questions which are the most important question. And what those questions are like, what is my objective for trading, right? And a lot of time people stumble into trading, but is this what they want, right? And that's the most important thing you should be asking yourself, because not everybody think everybody's lifestyle and their this thing is suitable for trading, right? They are not like cut out for trading, and as a result what can happen is that you can like and basically stumble into trading and you don't really know what you're doing, and a lot of time is wasted. So first fundamental question I would always ask is like, what is it that I'm looking for, right? There are people who come and approach me and they're very clear, look, I want to be the next Christian Kulamagi, I want to make 50 million, 100 million, right? They know what they're looking for then, right? And if you want to be the next KQ, right, you at least have a direction. Then there are people who come in and they say, oh, I'm trying this out. I just like want to make some money in my 401k, or I just have like I'm looking for something to do. Now that something to do is something which is not going to work, right? And it is because you have no clear idea. Now, the question which you need to ask is, what is it that I'm looking for in trading? So what are you looking for in trading? Like, let's hear some of you. What are you looking for? Why, what is it that is your like in a driving thing for trading? Since you showed up in this meeting, so what are the basic things? Like, why are you here? Because um, so if you are looking for freedom and all, I don't think like trading is going to give you a freedom, right? Because it is real work. It's not as if like it's freedom means like you're not going to be. It's not like it's real work, right? And I spent full day doing this, right? And it's not like um, most of the time throughout the year, right? So it's not as if we are looking for like you'll have an. It doesn't work that way, right? It just doesn't actually work that way. So let's be clear, right? And any thing which is like, you need to ask this question. There is no real, there is no clear, like answer to this, but that is what is going to determine how you are going to approach trading, right? If you are just going to look for to grow your retirement account, what you are going to look for is going to be very different from if you're looking for uh, making a lot of money. If your objective is to be rich, right, and really rich and like make 10 million, 20 million, 25 million, 30 million, how you will approach this is going to be completely different from somebody who's going to be like somebody said financial independence, he wants to make 10 million plus. Now that's something, then there is a path, right? If you are just looking at like getting out of job and you don't like job, I would say that this, then why is this the only option, right? And then you might as well look at some other options which might be better, right? And that is not going to get you anywhere basically, right? And just because you're frustrated with bootlicking or your job doesn't mean that this is the solution to your problem, right? So ask that question, and I would encourage all of you. And even if you have been trading for some time, you need to ask this basic question. Look, what is it that I am in it for, right? And for me, this is very clear, right? And this is my profession now. This is my passion. This is my career, right? And I look at it as a career. I'm not looking at it as a just another thing, right? And basically, so that is one question which you need to ask, right? And that is going to determine what you do. If you are going to be looking for like basically uh, it as a side business, right? Then you do not have a time commitment, or you cannot make a time commitment. Then what you want to do, or what kind of a trading you want to do, is going to be very different, right? So let's look at some of these things and then go on from there. Some of the why trading, right? Why do you want to do trading, right? It's very important to know what your profit expectations are, because your profit expectation is going to determine what is the kind of trading methods you're going to select, right? If your expectation is to make a lot of money, like somebody said 10 million, right? Or but like if you specify what time frame you're looking for, then it is going to determine what is the kind of money, or what is the kind of method which you're looking from. What are your profit expectations? If your profit expectation is to make lots of money, right, it will have an implication in terms of the kind of trading which can make lots of money. Okay. You want to make lots of money in trading, then you need to think through. You look at one of the ways to make lots of money in trading is basically by OPM is the easiest way to make lots of money, right? In trading. So I'm just going through what people are saying. Okay. If you want to make lots of money, right, and OPM is the easiest solution, right? And OPM is the easiest solution basically, but obviously to get to OPM level, you need to have track record, right? OPM stands for which means you manage money for others, like if you start a hedge fund or things like that, right? If you see all these people who have become like billionaire trading, right? Did they become billionaire trading using their own money, or they became billionaire trading using other people's money? Did Warren Buffett become a billionaire trading, or did he become a billionaire by doing OPM? Right? If you look at all the hedge fund, like you look at all the billionaires list, okay? George Soros, did he become a billionaire with his own money, or he became a billionaire by doing OPM? Paul Tudor Jones, was it his own money or OPM? John Paulson, was it his own money or OPM? I don't know who this guy is, but I can tell you, if I do a little bit research, I'll tell you that it is OPM. Bill Ackerman, is it because of like all these people? Warren Buffett, is it because of their, or like because of OPM? Jim Simmons, Ray Dalio, Carl Icahn, David Tepper, Ken Griffin, Steve Cohen, George Soros, Englander, Israel Englander, David Shaw, David Siegel, Chess Coleman, Paul Tudor Jones, Bruce Corner, Stanley Druckermill. All these 15 people, okay, all the 15 people, they became billionaire through OPM. Right? So be clear about these things. Like people have unrealistic expectation OPM is the path to take if you want to make a lot of money, right? Very few people, like there is none I know of who became a billionaire. Like people made like an say 100 million kind of a thing. But beyond that, especially in US, it is not possible, right? And they're like just like in a trading. So be clear, OPM is the path. And then if you're going to do OPM kind of a thing, right? Then you have to plan for that and do it accordingly, right? And it's not going to be like just going to happen. So there is no one on this list. Even Soros didn't make it by. Soros was a OPM. It was like there is no. Soros didn't make it on his own. It was not his money. He was. They were running a hedge fund, right? So none of these people have made billions by doing this. So be clear, right? And you starting a business, you can become a billionaire, right? Starting a business, you can become a billionaire, right? With just like your money, but not like this way. Okay. So your profit expectations are important because your profit expectation is going to determine what is the thing which you're going to be looking at, right? Somebody said their profit expectation is to make $1,000 a day. Or people come to me, I want to make 100,000 a month, right? If your expectation is to make $1,000 a day, right? What is the, by choice itself, what is going to get you $1,000 a day? Essentially, unless you become a day trader, right? There is no way to make $1,000 a day, right? You'll have to be a day trader. So these are questions which you need to ask, right? And a lot of time is the same thing as like many decisions in your life. You take a lot of time to make a decision, right? Many of these decisions in your life, you take a lot of time to make a decision, right? In order to get married, you take a lot of time to decide, right? People date for years and then they decide not to get married also, right? Yeah, you spend a lot of time, like unless you're just one of those impulsive person to decide like but there are certain decisions people do it with no thinking, right? Absolutely zero thinking. People do decisions or like with a quickly make a decision. And what is that? This trading thing, getting into it without thinking creates problem, right? And similarly, when you are buying a house, right? Considering the amount of money involved in buying a house, how much time do you have or how much time do you get to select a house and like make a decision? People see a house for half an hour, at best 20 minutes, right? And make an offer, right? So how can it be that like, but some decisions are like that. Similarly, people stumble into trading, right? And that's the biggest thing. And nobody, unless you are like from a background of trading, right? And unless you are coming from a background of trading like that, what's his name? That Oliver, whoever that guy who won, Oliver Kale, right? What's his background? His father was a this thing, a trader, right? Even if you see the what's his name, like he should have been in that Market Wizard book. He's also a member, but he never posts. His father was also one of the bigger, like he was actually, I think his father was featured in the Market Wizard book, right? So as a result, they have some background. They know what they're doing, right? And they have idea as to what is this field about, right? A lot of you have stumbled into this field without knowing what this field is about, right? And you just Richie's father was like in the thing, right? And Richie should have been in that book, but like obviously he wasn't because of COVID-19. But I think he should have been there in the book basically. But again, it's a family business, right? It's a family business. If Tanya decides to get into this thing, it's a family business, right? And she'll have a lot more background. She'll have a lot more thing, right? And so that's like the thing, right? Basically. So why trading? What are your profit expectation, right? what is the time commitment which you are willing to make? The most important question which you have to really ask yourself is, what is the time commitment you are willing to make? All successful traders I know of, every single successful trader, very few, like, there are very few exceptions. Almost every successful trader I know of have put in at least anywhere between 2 to 5 years. Two to 5 years of superhuman efforts. Okay. So are you willing to put that in? And when do you need to ask this question? Before you start, right? Before you start. It's like if you many of you are too old for that, but like if you have a kid and if he's trying to get into medical school, what should he know about it? What's the first thing? If you want to and if your kid wants to get into medicine, they should have a realistic idea as to what it takes to be in medicine, right? How much effort is required? How much effort is required to become a doctor? How many years are required? At least at the minimum 10 years before you are going to see any money. 10 to 12 years, right? At least. And you are going to see real money like 15 or 20 years, probably after 20 years out of medical school, right? And these are questions which you need to ask. Are you willing to put in a time commitment of 2 to 5 years of superhuman efforts? Okay. Because it takes that much time for people to understand things, get mind clarity, find a methodology, perfect a methodology, and make it their own. Right? So time commitment you are willing to make, right? How much are you willing to spend during learning phase? When do you need to ask this question? Before you start, at the beginning, you need to know, you need to have realistic expectation, right? You need to spend money to learn in this field, right? And basically, whichever way you want to do it, right? And it takes time. Either you learn by basically making losses. That's also learning fee, right? And that's the cost of learning. Or you basically spend time and effort, money to learn it from somebody else, right? There is no free. There are there are no free lunches in this business. Okay, KQ is doing all these calls and all, right? But how much has he himself spent? How much did he spend himself to develop before he became profitable? Do you have any idea how much money he spent? Not only that, he lost money in trading. That's a different thing. But How much money he spent on educational resources. He signed up for Mark Minervini's site, right, which cost $5,000. He signed up for Dan Zanger's site, which costs $1,000 or $150 or something, $200 per month. He was in that Investor Underground. Investor Underground is what, like almost $300 a month. Okay, he's easily spent close to around. You can ask him that also. He must have spent close to around 10K plus on all these things. Easily, I would say that is an underestimation. Yeah, he was there in all sites. Like he was in Investor Underground, he was in Access Trading, and he was like in a Mark Minervini's and Dan Zanger, right? It's over 10K, right? So the story looks very glamorous. You look at it, he started with $3,000, $1,000 and made 80 million, but people don't realize the important part of the element of the story. Okay, superhuman effort, right? Superhuman effort. And he spent almost 10K on like learning, right? To understand what these people were doing before he discovered something which worked for him, right? So multiple chat rooms he was in, he was like many things, right? So how much are you willing to spend during the learning phase? You have to be clear, crystal clear about it, right? If you cannot, it's going to be difficult. Means let's be realistic, right? And I spent how much money I spent like probably over the years in books alone. I don't even remember how much like basically, right? So there is so much to this than just like when you see a successful trader, right? And whenever a biography of a successful trader, whether he writes it himself or others write, what happens? So that's a dollars, right? And that's a pile of dollars, right? What is done is rest of the background is blurred out, right? Rest of the background is blurred out and it's made as a simple story, right? And you don't understand rest of the background. So you feel, yeah, I will just like spend some couple of weeks and I'll become the next. Every time, if I count the number of emails I get or DMs I get on Twitter, okay, saying that they want to be the next KQ, right? And if I like and I charge them $200, okay, I would in this year alone, I would have made 2 million. Everybody wants to be the, like every day, like I on the weekend, I didn't look through my Twitter DM. I opened today Twitter DM, 17, 18 DM saying, hey, I want to be the next KQ. Tell me what should I do and all. Means, hey, whenever anybody's biography is written, right, and it's all spray paint, you like spray paint rest of the uncomfortable details, right? That's how it is written always, right? And basically, so that like it's otherwise who will believe the story, right? And so it's like that. So be realistic. These are questions which you need to ask, okay? Which people don't want to ask, and then they like get disappointed because these are the questions which you need to know. You need to know, right? Even if you look at Oliver Kale, and if you read like how much struggle he went through, right? And in spite of the fact that his father was this thing, right? So there are no easy solution. Or even if you talk to people like Kometo or like anybody, right? There is superhuman effort and learning curve. A lot of money spent on learning, right? A lot of money and effort, right? And that is the true story of trading. I don't want anybody to start believing that this is very glamorous, right? And all that you get to do is like, and come here, become successful, and then date Victoria's Secret models and sit under a coconut tree on your own island. Unfortunately, that is not. And these are questions which you need to ask yourself. How much commitment I am going to make? How much am I willing to spend to learn, right? And the time, how much time I'm willing to make, right? It is going to take you time. Even if somebody gives you a ready-made template, and tells you all the rules and shows everything, it is still going to take you a year and a half, 2 years to be successful. And why is that? It's not the fault of the person who's giving you all the template and everything. Why it will still take you time? Because you have to internalize it. You have to make it your own, right? You have to have confidence in that thing, because nobody can create a confidence, right? And nobody can create a confidence. You have to create a confidence. You have to make it like in a work for you, right? On the same day on which people are creeping about everything, like I made money, right? So same scan I'm running. I told you what scan I'm running, the process. I told you in the morning that this is a stock which is like an SOFI or Brothers was like the stock, right? But can you act on that information? It takes time, right? It takes time. It takes repeated effort. Anybody who wants to get into this business has to be willing to ask these questions, according to me, okay? And the time to ask this question is right at the beginning. Unfortunately, that's not how it operates, right? That's not how it happens. People just like tumble into this. But you have to ask this question, fundamental questions, because if you ask the fundamental question, then you will find a direction, right? If you see that realistically you cannot make this time commitment, realistically you are not willing to make this kind of a investment in learning, then you still have a direction. And what is the direction? Then you have a direction, clear direction, right? Then go and do just ETFs, or like keep buying some this thing, do a diversification kind of a strategy, put your money into some SPY ETF and forget about it, right? Put money in SPY or IWM, or like split it between IWM, and that's the end of the story, right? That's the end of the story. If you are looking for big money, you need to find a path. You need to find a path, and that path will be, it will invariably come to certain choices, and those choices will be higher frequency. Right? Higher leverage. Because all of these people whom you read about who have become billionaire, right? Besides OPM, what was the other reason why they became a billionaire? What is the other reason why they became a billionaire? Do you know what is the other reason besides OPM? Exactly. It's not only that they did OPM. OPM by itself gives you a leverage, right? But on top of that, they leveraged it 3, 5, 10, 20 times, 40 times. Not only this, on top of that, they used higher leverage on top of that. So think about these things. A lot of these, it's very easy in this business to sell people dreams, right? And that's what, like, that's the easy part. If I want to sell dreams, I will show you my car, I will show you my house, I will show you my lifestyle, and which is what a lot of people do, right? In this business. But the fact is that if you want to realistically understand this business, it is all about like these people using OPM and high leverage, right? So if you are going to be making big money, you need to find high leverage also. And these are all questions which you need to ask yourself right at the beginning of your starting journey, because that is going to help you determine your path very quickly, right? Because if you are going to be saying, I want to make 10 million, and how much are you starting with? You're starting with 100,000 and you want to make 10 million, then you need to do a lot of trading. You need high leverage. You need high leverage in terms of ideas which you find, right? And then you don't go and like do value investing or things like that, right? All the value investors people talk about, right? The one which have made money using value investors, did they make money using value investing, or another factor which was very important in their success was OPM plus leverage? Right. So this is important question which you need to ask, right? So direction, how much time? The most critical and the single biggest question which you need to ask, and which a lot of traders don't ask, is that how much money is needed to make a living out of trading realistically? Don't give me unrealistic figure, give me realistic numbers. At least I would say anything less than 300K, yeah, no chance. Anything less than 300K, you're just going to be constantly on the treadmill. Okay. Because even if you make 100K, 150K, 300K on 300K, right? Tax is going to eat up how much of that? 45% will be, if you make 300K on a 300K, your tax is going to be 40%, right? Depending on which state you are, maybe 47%. So you're left with 150K and you need to eat, right? Are you going to eat ramen noodles? No, right? You need, realistically, you need, I means today's living cost and all, I would say 500K you need. Preferably 500K less, right? Because remember, there are going to be tough years, right? There are going to be tough years where you will barely manage to make 20, 30%. If you make 20, 30%, you should still be able to make a decent living, right? Even if you don't have to pay taxes, still realistically, anything less than 300K, I would say, if anybody is telling you that, I would question that. I see so many people selling dreams at 25,000. You can make a living, and you can make a living at 30,000. Is it possible? Yes, possible. But then you are going to be, for the effort which you put in, the amount of money which you are going to be making in, if you put in that same effort, In some other field, you'll easily make 250 to 300K, right? So these are the questions which I would ask people, like, you should ask, right? And basically, realistically, to get a realistic vision, right? Obviously, everybody has limitation. Not everybody has 300K to trade. I have only 10K, only 15K. Then find a job, find a side hustle, find something else. Don't depend on this to make your living. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. No matter how many rosy scenarios people will tell you, right? Even KQ had a job before he hit big time, right? When did he give up his job? See, for 401k and all, if you have money in it, like, which is one of the problems which I face, is like a lot of my money is in these restricted accounts, right? Even if I make money there, can I take it out? Can I use it for living expenses? No, right? You can't take it out. Means like many years, it is like I'm asset rich. I become asset rich, right? But cash flow terms, you remain like challenge, because if you take it out, you're going to pay a tax. You're going to pay a tax plus 10% penalty, right? Which doesn't make sense, right? So if you're going to be making a living based on just growing 401k, think through it. It's not like you can just take out that money, right? And you can't just take out that money. So you're going to build something, but you're not. Like, that's why, like, then you need to find ways and means of this thing, cash flow, right? Or you can borrow against it, kind of thing. You can buy for real estate, but even if you buy a real estate from 401k, you still need to pay the mortgage, right? So how are you going to pay the mortgage? I don't think he left his job till he had a 1 million, right? And once he made 1 million, okay, that's when he left his job. Once he crossed 1 million, he left his job, right? How did he make it? Like, by just like day trading. First 1 million, he made his first 1 million day trading, and there is a reason for it, right? Because if you want higher amount of returns, you have to trade more frequently, because the more you use capital, the more leverage you use. It is possible, right? So if you ask him, he will tell you he made his first million day trading. Right? Yeah, he made his first 1 million day trading, and in that also basically the short selling short selling pumps, right? Short selling. But also remember, right? Is 1 in million, right? 1 in probably 100 million. Are you 1 in 100 million kind of skills? Do you have the ability to like do it like he did it, like superhuman effort, putting in bunch of research, doing it on his own, right? If you cannot even find the post which was made 2 days ago, if you cannot even find how to use search, are you going to be next KQ? Zero chances, right? Zero chances. So these are the questions which you need to ask before you start. And because it is going to take, no matter how much, like, yes, things like this site can help reduce your learning curve significantly. It can help you reduce the amount of money which you spend on learning kind of a thing. But here is the thing. In order to do that, you still need to believe, right? And that belief is the biggest thing, right? So ask this question and be realistic. Have a second job, have a second hustle. Till you make, like, and I would say that till you make around at least 300, 500K, don't even think of like, and just giving up these things, right? So be realistic. Decide what is it that you want to make. Okay, if you are looking at just like growing your retirement account, then don't spend too much time and effort and just like put it in every month, keep dollar cost averaging into an ETF and forget about it, right? Don't even spend time, go do something else, right? And drive for Uber or deliver food for Grubhub, right? You will make more money. Huh? He was active, like he was active in the sense like he came and he made posts and all. So to act active in the sense like people who are active on the website are the one whom I know, right? Do I know him personally? Have I spoken to him personally? No. So it is really basically based on that, right? And basically, so it doesn't matter, right? And it doesn't matter what he did. It's not only KQ, anybody you look at it, right? Other set of people who come to me are there like all like, I want to be the next Mark Minervini, okay? Yeah, fine, but like, again, same thing, right? What did he do? What's the reason why Mark Minervini is successful? Is it because of his setup? Is it because of VCP? Or is there a reason why he's successful? Superhuman efforts, right? He did his own research. How many years it took him to be successful? It took more years than KQ took, 5 to 6 years, right? And during that time, he had like jobs, right? He had jobs. He was a bouncer at a nightclub because he wanted to trade during the day, right? Even Dan Zanger, once he made his million only, he left his swimming pool business, right? He didn't leave his swimming pool business till he made like 17 million, I think he made. And then he left his job, right? So a lot of these questions you need to ask yourself right at the beginning. And if you have answer to that, then you will find a path which will be easier. Because if you are going to be moving towards, like if your goal is to be a full-time trader, then realistically, you need to put together 300K, right? If you are planning to become like a billionaire, multi-millionaire in trading, or billionaire in trading, your path is very clear. And what is the path? Your path is OPM, right? You want $1,000 per day. What is your path? Right. You want 100K per month. You need 300K, and then you need damn good ability to swing trade. Damn good ability to swing trade without asking others. Right. If you're thing is, I don't want to pay taxes, right? Then you need to hold positions for multi-years, 3 to 5 years. That's the path, right? So what will you do in this case? You want to hold position for 3 to 5 years. Then you'll have to be extremely research oriented. Because the stocks which you buy, which are going to hold for 3 to 5 years, should be capable of going up for 3 to 5 years, and which also will mean that you'll have you are better off probably focusing on more established businesses rather than young businesses, right? And these are all like a realistic scenario which you need to think about at the beginning. If that happens, again, like, and if you know right at the beginning that learning curve is going to involve money, right? And it is also going to involve months to years. You might decide, look, there is no point in going this route, right? I might as well put focus in my job and get to the next couple of levels in my job, and I'll probably make more money, right? So these are questions which you need to ask. Even if you didn't ask them and you are at wherever destination you are and you're still struggling, you still need to ask this question: am I really willing to learn? Means like, and as I told you, almost every one of the people who made it here over the years, right? They have been at it for months, years, right? 3, 5. There are people who are like attended 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 15. Like I think 15 bootcamp, 12 or 15 will be like only for few handful of them. But people who attended 4, 5 is very common. Before they understood, and then it's like before they really appreciated how to make this work and they started working on it, took them that much amount of time and effort. And you can ask people around, right? In spite of the fact that I've been like saying the same thing, and I every day explain the same thing, and even if you go back years into it, like how much I explain every month, I explain multiple times the same thing, right? And I explain multiple times episodic pivot, episodic pivot, episodic pivot, so many things, right? Episodic pivot, but takes time, right? You see that every day. You see that every day on the Zoom meetings or on timeline, right? People don't understand. People don't understand. They don't get into the trade. They're waiting for like if I say that this is a good breakout, they're not like they're not buying it, right? They don't even understand what really the scan is doing, right? Because none of this, they made it their own, right? None of this, they made it their own. Right? So if you want, ask this question first, right? Before you decide, because and if you come to the, after looking at all these questions, if you come to the conclusion that yes, this is what I want to do, then you're more likely to be successful. If you ask this question and if you feel that, look, this is not something, or even today, like, and if you after asking this question, you feel that, look, hey, this is more difficult than what I thought it is, you still have options, right? You can like take a second job, do something else, so that you have a steady flow of income, so that you know, okay, look, this is going to take time, right? And so I just wanted to start with this. Tomorrow I'm going to discuss more specific, just like this is just an introductory kind of a thing. Tomorrow I'm going to get into more specific things which you should do right at the beginning, which I knew, if I knew, instead of like spending 2-3 years in the beginning and spending a lot of money, I could have even shortened my time curve. So the most important thing, which is how to select your time frame and frequency, because every trader ultimately, or for me also, once I decided and I came to peace with the time frame and frequency with which I wanted to trade, things started to happen, and very quickly things started to happen, because then you made a decision, right? So you're not flirting from different things, right? So you made a decision that, look, you're only going to date guys who are 6 feet tall and who have all hair on their head, and those who have gone to Ivy League, right? So then your path is clear, right? So you're not going to go and date somebody from Duke University, right? And and a lot of people are not sure about this, right? So much effort, like, and if I was sure about my time frame and frequency, because you get contrary advice, right? And in the beginning, if I was sure, I would have saved so much, like I would have saved like probably 2 years. I would have saved 2 years, right? Even though I became profitable very quickly, but like I would have really made big money if I was clear right at the beginning, right? So we'll go through this step by step. And this is more for like, this is not really nitty gritties of trading, but these are the issues which you need to think through. Because a lot of people I see have very unrealistic expectations about how fast they can learn on their own, right? And what is their definition of superhuman effort, right? Their definition of superhuman effort is to send 17 emails to me asking for information, which is right in front of their nose, right? Yeah, means like, and they're putting superhuman effort in writing me emails, right? Or sending me DMs. Without like, they are not going to make it. They're not going to make it, right? Because that information, they could have found it on their own, right? And all that I do is I just like, go and search and find the video and just like, and I say, here, it is there, right? And do I know all the videos which I've done? No, right? All that I do is like, and I just search. I run a search, like, right? And so somebody says today kept sending DMs after DMs, 3 by 300, 3 by 300, right? Yeah, 3 by 300. There is nothing, I cannot find anything on 3 by 300. Okay, all that I did was like, and I ran 3 by 300 as a search, and I found on September 30th, which is just 10 days ago, I'd done a video day trading using 3 by 300, right? So all that I did was like, and I just took this link and sent it to him on a DM, right? So ask this question, and I would say be realistic. Like, there is a lot of people who have very small accounts and they're trying to think like they'll make money. I just want hundreds of to make 1,000 and I'll survive on 1,000. Let's be realistic, okay? There are months when you're not going to make 1,000, okay? So what happens on months when you're not going to make 1,000? They'll be all doing buy now, pay later, right? So if I respond, use the search bar on the site instead of sending them into info, they'll send, where is the search bar? I cannot find search bar, right? I search, but I cannot see anything there. So it's not as simple as that, right? And that's like, so be realistic, okay? It takes time. It is going to take you time. If you've been here for 6 months and if you don't have scans in place, if you don't have process in place, if you're not really like attending the meetings or at least looking at those meetings, if you're not really understood the process, if you are like you cannot find a good setup, you're not entering good setup. If you're in a good setup and you're just taking a $10 profit, $20 profit. I see a lot of you send me your trades and I look at it, and what you're doing is you're taking profit at $30 and $40 and your losses are at $300. Is this equation ever going to work? Tell me, is this equation ever going to work? There is no way. There is no way this is going to work, right? Because your biggest profit is $100, right? And your losses are $300, $400. There is no way, right? There is no way you're going to look. So if that is the situation, how can I fix, right? Instead of continue to trade like that, then you need to sit down and then look at it. You look at it, what am I doing? I'm taking 17 trades in a day. Okay. Is there something wrong here if you're taking 17 trades in a day? Stop and think. Are there 17 A quality setup in a day? So am I doing something wrong, right? And these are the ways in which then you start developing your expertise and become good at it, right? And that's the objective. Like my objective is to make whoever joins, okay, my objective is to give my 100% focus to make that person profitable, right? But in order to make anybody profitable, there is only humanly, I can only do so much, right? If you're stuck on a thinking that the stocks which show up in the combination scan, it's too late to buy. Can I help you? And you make 30 times that post on the timeline saying the same thing, saying the combination scan, by the time it finds, it's too late to enter. It's too late to enter. See, using the same combination scan, right? I also found a trade today. And if I calculate how much that's 7,000, 2,000, 1,500, 9,000 and 640. So that's around 10K I made using the same scan. Right? So what happens is these are some of the issues which you need to deal with. Like at the beginning, look, am I one? So the other issue which you need to ask is, have I shown in my life ever ability to learn new skills, right? Or am I stuck in my way of thinking? Are you teachable, or are you capable of learning new things? Right. So think about these issues, and then tomorrow we'll really get into the time frame, because that's really, there's a lot of confusion. People spend 6 months doing one thing, then they abandon that, and then do something for 3 months, and then they abandon, and then they do that thing. So that should be very clear upfront, because if you can think through that upfront, right, and it means you will save a lot of time and effort, and more than time and effort, you're going to save a lot of money, because all these things cost money, right? All of these are money, which is something which you're losing, right? You're losing money learning, you're going to lose money, right? If you make losses during learning period, you're going to be losing money. The more question you ask at the beginning and more issues you put to bed in the beginning, lesser amount of dilly-dallying which you are going to do, lesser amount of going here, going there, trying this, trying that you are going to do, and you're just going to use, like I did a video which was many months ago, I think, formula. Do you people remember my video on formula? Right? Look at that video on formula. Then if you can think like formula, you'll become profitable very quickly. And my objective is to make you profitable as quickly as possible, right? As quickly as possible. If you are really learnable kind of a person who can like listen to people, who can like use basic learning skills. Okay, it should take you not more than 6 weeks to 10 weeks to get everything in place and start making some money. 6 weeks, I would say, right? 6 weeks it should take you. And then after that, it is a question of fine tuning, working on it. But if you are not capable of like searching, if you are not capable of finding things, if you are not capable of like instead of doing the things which we are telling you and we are showing you, you want to experiment on your own immediately, then it will take you 6 months, right? It will take you 6 months. And for some people, it will take you 6 years or 7 years till you get it. And that's the way it is, right? That's the way it is. If you follow the template and if you do things 1 week, 2 weeks, putting in all the scan together, putting in all the software, getting the right software, again, same problem with software, right? I don't care about what software you want to use later, but currently, if you are saying that I want to use TOS and you cannot make these scans in TOS and you're begging around people that, hey, please, somebody, please tell me how to write this in TOS. What is the easiest solution? Is to get TC2000, right? Try it for 2 months, 3 months, and instantly in 24 hours, you'll have all the scans in place. Instead of begging, saying TradingView. If you are using TradingView and you cannot create your own scan, the software is of no use, right? And the software is of no use. These are the things which you need to do. After that, once you learn and once you know the scan and all, and you start making money, use whatever you like. You want to use neurolingual programming software, use neurolingual programming software. Who cares, right? But you're spending so much time and effort in just like anything which can be fixed by $30, right? Which can be fixed by $30. There are reasons why we are doing what we are doing. There is a reason why I run the scan combination the way I am running, right? You continuously saying, no, it finds things which are late. Yeah, means like, it's not that the scan is a problem. Your understanding of the market structure, your understanding of mind clarity of the setup is a problem. Can you fix it? Can you fix it? Or are you such a fixated person that you like, that's your hypothesis, that's your hobby horse, and you're going to keep driving that hobby horse? Yeah, means I would always recommend go get TC2000. Things will be easy. After 3 months, once you learn everything, you can decide, right? And it means, isn't it the same thing? Like in any field you go, they tell you like this is the tools which you need, this is the thing which you need. Yeah, you go to like in a French cooking classes, and you say, look, I'm not going to use cheese. I don't eat like butter. I don't eat like yeah. They'll tell you like go take a walk, right? And means if you have to learn faster, you have to basically use the tools which people are using, do the same thing, do the same process, do it the way they are doing, and then correct it. Otherwise, you're just wasting time. You're just wasting time, and you're just like begging for people to give you scans and things like that. How does it help you? It doesn't help you, right? So tomorrow we'll look at like the important thing, which is like deciding your frequency and time frame, because that is, according to me, the major decision which you need to make right at the beginning. Because if you can make it, it's going to save you 3 years. Okay, it's going to save you 3 years if you can make that decision very quickly. Okay, I mean, even in the first 3 years, I still kept like dilly-dallying between swing and longer term and position trading and trying other things and all. If I had come to a conclusion and if I had come to the peace with myself, look, and a swing is the way to do it, and occasionally find a longer term trade, I would have saved so much money and effort, and not, I could have gone to sleep at 9 o'clock, not at 2 o'clock in the night. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and we'll go. This is a series which I plan to run for a couple of weeks, so that like, this is not going to talk about what we are doing, but like this is more fundamental issues about like trading. If you're going to make a life decision, you need to take this into consideration. Okay.